398. Those numbers may not sound like much to you. To you, they may be your front door combination, a password of some sort. To me, those numbers made something entirely different. They meant shame, they meant desperation, they meant failure. 46 was my Tomche Shabbos route number. 398 was my Tomche Shabbos box number, the number by which my family was identified in order to preserve what dignity we still had. My name is Shenker. I have a wife and 8 children, Baruch Hashem. I worked hard every day to provide food for my family. I did my best, but my best did not seem to be enough. I had big plans for what my future would look like. But as they say, despite the best laid plans, Hashem's plan is the one that works. In 2010, the struggles became too much to bear. There was no money, there was no food, there was no peace of mind. The cabinets and refrigerators were empty. My children were eating pita bread and cream cheese for supper. Actually, there wasn't much cream cheese. Mayonnaise was cheaper. The electricity was constantly being shut off, the water and gas as well. Life was not kind. Every time my wife went to the grocery, a credit card was declined. Shalom Bayis was not easy. I felt as if I had failed. I knew that we needed help, but I could not bring myself to make the call. My wife looked up the phone number for Tomche Shabbos. A tzaddik, who I only learned later was Rabbi Moskowitz, answered the phone. My wife was crying so hard, she could not even speak. Rabbi Moskowitz spoke to her. He said, "Please don't cry. It's going to be okay. We are going to help you." And at that moment, a weight was lifted. The boulder on our shoulders was not our own anymore. There were others there that would help us shoulder the burden. And thus began our relationship with Tomche Shabbos. For years, while growing up in Borough Park, I delivered Tomche Shabbos packages for Pesach. For several years, I was posted on a delivery truck, and thereafter I was posted in the warehouse for the families that came to pick up their boxes. After I got married, my brother and I got our own delivery route, and we delivered the boxes to the families in need every Thursday night. And I was on top of the world. After all, I was doing chesed, it felt good, yet I never thought once about what the recipients experienced, what it must feel like to wait for those boxes to be delivered every Thursday, what it must feel like to hope that all children are asleep by the time the boxes arrive, so they would never know the sorry state of finances, so that they never know that they are the recipients of tzedakah. And then I knew what all those people felt like. I knew the agony of defeat when the first box arrived on September 6, 2012. I knew the sadness of sending my children to bed early so they would be asleep when the box was delivered. I knew the crushing blow to my ego when I shut the porch light early so that none of my neighbors would witness our shame. I knew the shattered heart when we hauled the boxes in from the front porch. We opened the boxes and then we felt relief. We unpacked challah and grape juice, chicken and vegetables, cake and milk. There was food in the refrigerator, there was food in the cabinets, and we knew that it would come again the next week and the week after that. Hashem had not abandoned us. Hashem had not seen fit to allow me to earn the money for food on my own, but He had sent the shliach to provide it for us. When my children awoke and saw the bounty of food, there was a celebration. The excitement was palpable. My wife and I scrambled to come up with a plausible story for where it came from. That we had a friend who had connections to people who sold wholesale food and the children bought it. Our secret was safe. Every week thereafter, the boxes came. There were special boxes for Hanukkah and Purim with national prizes for the kids. They were ecstatic, and though my wife and I knew where the boxes really came from, we shared in the children's joy. Before Pesach, my wife was approved for a credit card with a $4,000 credit limit. Oh, how we celebrated. We felt like we hit the lottery. My Rav asked me a few days later if I had money for Pesach. I proudly told him that we had just been approved for a $4,000 credit card. He looked at me and sadly replied, "This is nicht Geld. This is not money." We are not in control of our destinies. We don't have the power. We have the power to daven, to help others, but not to change our course of our lives. This is Hashem's alone. In October 2012, Hurricane Sandy hit. My power was shut. There was no heat. It seemed like the hits kept coming. And from the ashes came the light. Someone I was acquainted with needed help securing his nursing homes in the Rockaways during the flooding. He asked if I could come up with a plan to help secure his nursing homes. Baruch Hashem, I did. After all was said and done, he asked me if I wanted to open up a security company. And ISSM Protective Services was incorporated February 2013. There were struggles, but Baruch Hashem, on October 17, 2013, we received our last and final delivery from Tomche Shabbos, route number 46, box number 398. With tremendous Yad Shmaya, we slowly crawled out of our hole. Hashem saw fit in His infinite kindness to grant us small successes, and things began to look better. My wife and I begged Hashem over and over, please Hashem, if you grant us parnasa, we will never forget where we came from. We will always remember our humble beginnings. We will always help those in need. One day while in the grocery, my wife saw Tomche Shabbos cards at the register. $1 cards, $3 cards, and $5 cards. And from that day forward, a $5 card was added to every single order at the grocery. And my wife kept each of those cards. She has many Ziploc bags full of those cards. She carries a full bag in her purse at all times. When my kids ask her why, she says it's her shmira and that it's a reminder to never forget and remain humble. Approximately 3 years ago, it was right here in this hall, Rabbi Dunner spoke at one of the other dinners, and he mentioned about supporting families, and he mentioned the number 4. We were, Baruch Hashem, in the position to make a pledge to Tomche Shabbos to support 4 families every week, and with the help of Hashem, the pledge will continue and grow, because Ma'alam Kodesh Eloi Meridin. We keep rising in our levels of giving. There are also so many in need, so many who are struggling, so many who are ashamed, so many who beg Hashem daily for help and relief, so many who do not yet have the courage or strength to pick up the phone and call Tomche Shabbos for help. Every true struggling is someone's child, someone's sister's or brother, someone's parent, someone's friend. Kol Yisrael Arevim Zeh Lezeh. We are each responsible for the well-being of every Jew. Olam Chesed Yibana. Chesed is the bedrock of the Jewish nation. It is in our DNA, it is in our hearts, and it is needed today more than ever. Rabbi Rosenstock and Rabbi Moskowitz spend their days and nights worrying, providing, ensuring that is all done with dignity, with confidentiality, but we need your help. We all have sisters and brothers, parents, in-laws and children. Do you know if perhaps your family member have a route number and a box number? Do you know if perhaps their smiles hide worlds of pain? My brothers and sisters did not know that I was route number 46, box number 398. My parents did not know. My friends did not know how dire my situation was. When we imagine recipients of tzedakah, we imagine an almana, an alman, a divorced man or a woman, a stranger, but it isn't so. It is much closer to home than you think. Please dig deep. Whatever number you are thinking of, double it, triple it, if you can. Because the life you save with your donation may be that of your sister or brother, your parent or child. We all ask Hashem to always let us be the giver instead of the receiver. Chesed changes your life. It changes your family. When we eventually told our children what Tomche Shabbos has done for us, we were astounded by their reactions. My son began going to pack Tomche Shabbos boxes with his friends. My daughters would come home from every trip to the grocery with a $5 Tomche Shabbos card. My heart is bursting with pride. Children will emulate what they see at home. Please show them how important Tomche Shabbos is. I would not ask you to do what I myself would not do. I believe in leading by example. My family moved to Lakewood a year ago for my daughter Bashi Shenker, which I promised her I would give her a shout out tonight. Yet, we have not lost our close kesher with Rabbi Rosenstock. Hashem led us to Tomche Shabbos, Rabbi Rosenstock and Rabbi Moskowitz were the shluchim to show us the beginning of our Yeshua. Our Koras HaTov is endless. My wife and I made a pledge to Hashem years ago that if He granted us a parnasa, we would never forget. We would always help those in need. We have been zocher to keep that pledge, and today we would like to add to that pledge. Today we pledge $100,000 to Tomche Shabbos with our utmost admiration. And thanks to Hashem and Tomche Shabbos of Monsey. This part was not written by my wife, so I hope I'll say it right. I would like to take this moment to thank my wife publicly for always being there for myself and my family, never giving up, and making that phone call for us. May Hashem grant us all parnasa, berevach, with dignity. May we always be on the giving end, and may we zeicha to geula shleima b'meir v'meinu. Amen.